Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Don't forget tonight, the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast as our quiet weather week continues and probably gets us into and maybe through most of the weekend. But we are going to be watching the potential for a developing storm in the Gulf of Mexico that will probably bring rain and wind to Florida and the southeast coast of the United States, and it might find its way up the eastern seaboard early next week. So that's tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Nice day. Just about everybody in the east is enjoying a good deal of sunshine. There are some clouds in upstate New York and in northern New England. There's an upper trough that's about to move through. And actually, there's a weak cold front that goes by, and this is going to reinforce the chilly air that we have. I think the coldest air is coming in for tomorrow and Thursday. It's nothing crazy. It's really just keeping temperatures hovering close to average for this time of year. But I do want to call attention to what's going on in the Gulf of Mexico and in the Northwest Caribbean. We've got a lot of moisture building up here. There's a tropical jet that is pulling moisture up out of the Pacific and across Central America, and a lot of that is spreading now into the Gulf. It's very disorganized. And from this, we are going to eventually see a storm system develop later this week. And I'll come back to that in a moment. Radars are nice and quiet. We've got some snow in the St. Lawrence Valley in southeastern Canada. And we also have some precipitation back through Nebraska and scattered through parts of Colorado and New Mexico. Much of it is on the light side. A lot of it isn't even reaching the ground. But the rest of the country, really, much of the U.S. today is enjoying a very quiet and relatively nice weather day. So, looking ahead, I want to take a look here at WPC's new forecast for rainfall, and this is off of last night's model runs, and this takes us through next Tuesday night. And they have now pushed an inch and a half of rain back through much of New Jersey, southeastern New York, Long Island, and southern Connecticut, as well as parts of Rhode Island and eastern Massachusetts. 2 to 2.5 inch rains for coastal Virginia, North Carolina, southward, and then you start to see the big rain amounts, especially in southeast Florida, where we're looking at that orange area that's 5 inches or more from this potential storm that's going to form in the Gulf of Mexico. Again, I want to emphasize this is not going to be a tropical storm. This is a non-tropical storm. So there is a distinction here. And we've got moisture in northwest Texas and into New Mexico. Also, rain and maybe some mountain snows eventually in the Sierra Nevadas, in Northern California with the storm system off the California coast. The plains are dry, the central and the northern Rockies are dry, and much of the southwest is dry, and much of the Ohio Valley is going to be on the dry side for the next week. So that there's that. And as far as snow is concerned, for snow lovers, you probably can take solace in the fact that a lot of the country is snowless right now. We have some small areas in upstate New York with these upper troughs and weak cold fronts coming through. There's a little bit of lake effect going on in north central New York State. And of course, we mentioned about the snow on the inside of the along the St. Lawrence River Valley. This is the probability for at least 2 inches, and it's about 50% or higher in those bluish areas. And then there's a higher probability of 2 inches plus in parts of northern New Mexico, southern and into central Colorado, south of Denver, and in the west. For now, it remains very, very quiet. So I want to go give a quick run through of what some of the models did last night and today. This is last night's European model run, and as far as our weather is concerned, all three models are going to pretty much tell us the same thing for the next few days. We have, again, as a weak front that's coming through this evening and overnight. There won't be much with it, but we've got some colder air behind it. So Wednesday and Thursday will be cold days, particularly Wednesday night into Thursday, where we'll be in the 20s Wednesday night and probably struggling in the 30s on Thursday. And then, of course, the cold air is going to pull out. Low pressure develops in the Gulf sometime later Friday or Friday night. You see it there approaching South Florida, and then it starts to intensify as it moves northward. And this, by the European last night, was a major league low that it moved up right along the East Coast to just off the New Jersey coast by Monday afternoon. This would be a big wind and rain event. This would not be a snow event. It will probably have rain pretty much all the way up into New England because, again, there's a lack of cold air. But there's a lot of uncertainties in terms of how this plays out aloft. We're dealing with two separate jet streams, a northern part of the jet stream and a southern part. Do they phase? Do they not phase? That's a big question. Here's today's GFS, which has a low a little bit more developed than the European initially, develops it a little bit faster as it comes out of the southwest Gulf, heads over Florida, and then there's an inland low that stretches out and brings wind and rain Sunday night into Monday afternoon, and then starts to pull away toward the northeast, or at least part of it pulls away to the northeast, and then you have the upper air feature in the south. So there's a lot of complications here in terms of how the upper air with this sets up. And we talk more about that on my subscription platform where we have the video and we have a written analysis of what we can expect. We can say that it looks as if, to me, that at least through the dayside Sunday, regardless of which model you look at, that it is going to stay dry, and then the threat time might be later Sunday night into later Monday. That'll be the time frame for this, and I think we're going to probably have going to be busy the next couple of days looking at these models and trying to figure out what exactly we're going to be dealing here with this. But if you're in the southeast part of the U.S., and in Florida, I mean, clearly you're going to get some heavy rains out of this, and I think we're also going to see gales for the Florida East Coast and also for the Georgia, South, and North Carolina coast over the weekend, and then that'll maybe spread northward depending on how all this plays out. Of course, we're going to talk about this in great detail tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show, and that's at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time, so mark it down. We'll see you then.